Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Underground Sound. I'm Emerson.
And I'm Noah.
And today we've got a little bit planned here. We're going to be talking Juice WRLD and hopefully the Grammys.
Yeah. So sadly this morning, I think most of us found out that Juice WRLD, who is a 21-year-old artist in the rap and possibly R&B genre, if you consider it that, has died. It was the cause of a seizure while he was in the airport, and he's no longer with us. So that was shocking to a lot of fans of his and just the general music community. So we're going to be touching a little bit upon that, his life and what he did and how much he accomplished at the young age of 21. We'll also be talking about the 2020 Grammy nominations, which is a very interesting list. So we'll be talking about potential winners, potential losers, and everything in between.
All right, so to kick things off, we're going to play 10 Feet by Juice WRLD. All right, and we're back. Once again, that was 10 Feet by Juice WRLD, and of course, he has sadly passed away today. He had a seizure in the Chicago airport. Was it early this morning?
It was earlier this morning.
But yeah, so that was tragic news to me. I was completely blindsided by it. I had absolutely no idea that he was even on so much. I believe it was a drug-related seizure, if I'm not mistaken.
The coroner's report hasn't come out yet, and the specific cause of death as to why he had a seizure wasn't revealed. But I would imagine it's a result of possibly just mixing drugs, because I mean, I don't think he was ever revealed to have epilepsy or anything. But
yeah, no.
This aside, speculations aside, it is very, very sad. And being 21 years old, I mean, I can't even imagine. I just turned 22 only a few months ago, and Juice WRLD released quite a few albums in terms of how long he's been out there. He's been with Future. He actually did a collab album. Mm-hmm. Drake did a collab album with Future in 2015, so that's just pretty amazing considering how young he was.
Yeah.
Juice WRLD was really, really loved by a lot of people. You might have seen a lot of Spotify year-end review lists. Juice WRLD was at the top of probably about 10 to 12 that I saw. He was also one of my roommate's favorite artists, and I actually woke up to my roommate telling me this morning, along with Emerson texting me about it too. So that was a shock to everybody. I mean, once you think about it, we've lost XXXTentacion, we've lost Mac Miller, we've lost Nipsey Hussle. We've lost quite a few young artists, especially being under 30 in the past few years, and it's kind of a bad omen, it seems like.
It's crazy, yeah, because, I mean, I remember it seemed like we'd gone a long while without at least the younger artists.
Right.
Having such tragic deaths like this.
Yeah, I think Lil Peep kind of...
Lil Peep was like the first one.
Yeah, he kind of kicked that off for at least this sort of era of music.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just listening back to some of his songs, I mean, if there was any truth to some of it, I mean, geez, I mean, his probably wasn't doing himself any favors when it came to the drug usage, I hate to say. But he was very, very talented. Emerson loved some of his work, and I really, really enjoyed his latest album and his first one, of course, which is Goodbye and Good Riddance, and I think that's the one most people know first and foremost. Mm-hmm. But in terms of what Juice WRLD's estate's future is, I really hope they don't treat him like XXXTentacion using snippets.
It's getting annoying.
I think it speaks to a greater just reputation and just kind of vile practice in the music industry where, you know, artists have contracts, whether they're alive or not. They keep pushing out these songs, half cuts, things that weren't even finished, just to fill out an album and just have sales, especially during the winter holiday season. They did that. Mm-hmm. They did that with XXXTentacion. I remember his 1 minute single was heavily advertised because it was with Kanye West, but most of his stuff wasn't finished, leading to an unfinished album, and it just kind of tarnishes the artist's legacy, even though you know what they're doing. I think it's I really haven't enjoyed that practice specifically in the last few years, and I know it's happened in the past, obviously, but hopefully he gets better treatment, because I know he was working on a lot of new stuff, and I mean, some of our fears about that are probably going to come to pass. What do you think, Emerson?
Yeah, no, specifically on that there, on talking about how they treat him for the future, I found an article, actually, it was from just a couple months ago, I think, where Juice WRLD said in an interview where he thinks he has, like, close to 1,000 songs, like, already, like, made and written.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we definitely could see a lot of albums come from him within, like, the next few years of just having, you know, just the label releasing stuff. So hopefully that is treated better than how X's have been. But yeah, that's something that's kind of worth keeping in mind. But as Noah mentioned, in terms of music, I was a huge fan of Goodbye and Good Riddance. A friend put me on that album like right at the beginning, really. It was like maybe only like a week before it really popped off. But I really liked it. I was real excited to see where he could grow. And I definitely don't want to, like, I wasn't the biggest Juice WRLD fan, but I definitely respected him. And I definitely liked what I had heard for the most part. And I was excited. I thought he had a lot of potential.
Right.
I was really looking forward to what he would grow into. And sadly, we'll never know. Because, it was just, this whole thing caught me so off guard. Like, a buddy sent me the TMZ report through Twitter this morning.
Right.
And I genuinely, like, started going through the the comments and stuff, because I'm like, I really thought someone would be like, ah, ha, ha, very funny or something. Like, I honestly thought it was a joke at first, because it just completely took me away. I had no idea.
Yeah, and you can never expect
that.
Exactly. You can never expect these sort of things, especially like we've mentioned before, with young artists. It's becoming more of a, I hate to say it, trend, or at least common thing to have people leave us so early. But it was just amazing to see Juice WRLD's meteoric rise. He released his first true album, Goodbye and Good Riddance, in 2018, which was only last year, and that was closer to the middle to latter half of 2018,
I think
right?
I want to say it came out like very early summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I guess, but
he got a lot of playtime, and he became a pretty well-respected artist. He released a collab with Future, as we mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
After that, and Future is one of the titans of the rap industry, or at least when it comes to being alongside the likes of Drake or Lil Wayne, and any of those top names. Future is alongside them, so I think it's amazing that Juice WRLD was able to accomplish that. But as a final note, I think one thing we do when artists pass away or unceremoniously leave us so quickly is we kind of grieve about it, and we sometimes, in our sadness, we forget to sort of celebrate their life and legacy. It's one thing to be a successful artist. It's another thing to do it just for only a couple of years and just be so well respected. And I think that really speaks to just his reputation and how much people did like him for his music and his honesty, especially when it came to what he was saying. And that's not not many people get opportunities like that. So obviously it's a very, very sad thing. But once again, I think about Nipsey Hussle. People were celebrating him, you know? It was less of a mourning and more of a, this is what we need to model for the future.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So if we can model Juice WRLD and respect the artists that we have that are young right now, and make sure to cherish people while we have them, I think that's the bigger lesson here.
Yeah, it's weird because Juice WRLD's basically part of the group of rappers that a lot of people like to hate on, and make fun of, and all that. And although I definitely have my problems with a lot of them, he was honestly one of the few that I really, really appreciate. I really liked, and it's sad to see him be one of the few that go so soon, because he was definitely one of the lights, I think, and one of the brightest sparks when it comes to this type of rap, because I think it's done poorly a lot of the times, but I thought he really had a nice way of kind of bringing it together to such that it definitely worked.
Yeah, it was very genuine, and I appreciated that. So, on that note, we are going to switch over to playing one of Juice WRLD's songs. This one is called All Girls Are the Same. Let's give it a listen.
All right, that was Kamau and his song Clover, and we're moving on to the Grammys coming up. Noah?
All right, so the Grammys, very controversial in terms of their prestige. Obviously, they're the premier awards when it comes to music, but at the same time, they do an excellent job of snubbing a lot of artists. And if you don't know what snubbing means, it means kind of screwing over a lot of really good artists who deserve some of the nominations. However, because the Grammys are interesting and we enjoy following and hopefully predicting the awards, we're going to be talking a little bit about the 2020 nominations, especially in the category of rap. So first off, we have the Best Rap Performance, which is categorized by a rap performance, a single, or a track only. And our nominees are Middle Child by J. Cole, Suge by DaBaby, Down Bad, Dreamville, featuring J.I.D., J. Cole, Earth Gang, and Young Nudy. Racks in the Middle, Nipsey Hussle, featuring Roddy Ricch and Hit Boy, Clout, Offset, featuring Cardi B. So, those are our nominees right now. I'm going to go ahead and say Nipsey Hussle's track featuring... Oh, geez, sorry. Racks in the Middle. I think that's actually going to win it, partially because of just the impact Nipsey Hussle's death has had on the world and the greater rap community, but also just because he released extremely good music. I really do wish DaBaby would get this one, obviously, because, a little shout out to him. I don't think J. Cole's going to do it. Historically, he's done pretty well in music, but right now J. Cole's just not nearly as relevant as somebody as DaBaby or Nipsey Hussle. I do not think Clout's going to win because of Offset, but it is featuring Cardi B, so that one could come around. Emerson, what do you think?
Yeah, you said kind of the opposite of things that I was going to say for
the
most part.
That's good.
You ruled out Middle Child by J. Cole. I don't think that's going to win. I don't want it to win, but I think it's a very strong candidate. I think if they had to rank them, I think this would be number 2.
Really?
Honestly, I think it's got a strong contention here. I think Suge by DaBaby is the winner. I want it to be the winner. I think that song was just that was really the song that blew DaBaby up and made him as big as he is today.
I'm surprised Gospel isn't on here, though.
True. I'm with you there, but I think this song actually has it. It was just so fun, just lovable and funny, and it was popular. I mean, this thing got big, so I think it checks all the right boxes there. Down Bad with the Dreamville cast. I love that song. I'm still listening to that song now, which it wasn't that long, but still, it's lasting, which is good. Mm. I think the fact that it's just a onslaught of artists and it was kind of just like a cool freestyle with all of them, I think might hurt it a little bit in terms of this award, but I absolutely love the song. Mm-hmm. Racks in the Middle, I thought it was okay. I love Nipsey Hussle, but I thought the song was okay. So that's the only reason I'm not all over it. And then one thing I do agree with you with is Clout. That's garbage. That's nothing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not feeling that.
My scale is usually not when it comes to personal opinion. I like giving my personal opinion, but I know what comes to my likes and dislikes, or even the world's, doesn't fly when it comes to the Grammys. It could be anything goes here. So I think that's interesting that you mentioned all that. I really, really do like DaBaby. He's from Charlotte, so I have to give him a little bit of props there.
Gotta rep the home team.
And that'd be fantastic, especially in his first year of mainstream popularity. I think that'd be fantastic for him to win. So that was Best Rap Performance. We are now moving on to Best Rap/Sung Performance. And this is for a solo or collaborative performance containing both elements of R&B melodies and rap.
I'm so glad that they put short descriptions for all these now, because I used to be so confused over all these little changes in the titles, but I'm glad they kind of specify it. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, so you mind if I go into the nominees for this one?
Go for it, man.
So first up, we have Higher, DJ Khaled featuring Nipsey Hussle and John Legend. Drip Too Hard, Lil Baby and Gunna. Panini, Lil Nas X. Ballin', Mustard featuring Roddy Ricch. The London, Young Thug featuring J. Cole and Travis Scott. What are your thoughts, Noah?
Okay. So, from first glance, I do not think Panini is going to win. I think it had too much mainstream popularity, especially with the preceding hit that Lil Nas X had. As much as I actually do like the song, I don't think it has any chance. I don't think that The London is going to win. Young Thug hasn't really been too successful in recent years in terms of Grammy nominations and wins. J. Cole and Travis Scott. Travis Scott obviously has had an incredible last few years, but this one doesn't seem like it's going to be a winner. Then we have Drip Too Hard by Lil Baby and Gunna. I think that actually might be a really, really good contender.
I was thinking about it. As much as I kind of don't want this to win,
I think it
feel
might
like
be.
It's got very good chance at winning. I would not be surprised if they give it to Lil Baby and Gunna.
And Higher, which is a very, very weird set of artists as it is together. DJ Khaled, Nipsey Hussle, and John Legend. I think in terms of a collaborative performance, it's a pretty iconic thing. First of all, Nipsey Hussle has been, he's become legendary since his death. John Legend is obviously very good in many genres. And DJ Khaled, I mean, I don't have much to say about him now. So I think it's either going to be Drip Too Hard or Higher. What do you think, Emerson?
Well, I loved Higher with DJ Khaled, Nipsey Hussle, John Legend. I love that song. Definitely my favorite, personally, out of these. I think that's got a really good chance. I think Drip Too Hard's got a good chance. I'm not sure about Panini. I don't know. I think I think that was kind of just a nod to Lil Nas X. I feel like
Right.
he was just kind of throwing it in there just to be nice. Ballin', I kind of think the London, though, might have a chance, but...
I think it's boosted by Travis Scott. if
Absolutely.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Young Thug's garnered a very strong following now that wants to see him win a Grammy. Obviously, J. Cole's and Travis, their fan base is no different. So I feel like this, just off the names alone, has a pretty good chance at winning. But I wouldn't be too mad if any of these really won, though. Honestly, I like Roddy Ricch a lot, so I would like to see Higher win just because it's my personal favorite.
Right.
But I'm just interested in where this one goes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not really too picky. I think I like this list.
Well, in my opinion, if Racks in the Middle from Best Rap Performance doesn't win, I think Higher will win. I think it's going to be one or the other, interchangeable, vice versa.
That's possible.
So next up, we have Best Rap Song. Now, this is arguably the most important category.
This is always a cool one.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one, obviously, is a Songwriters Award. A song is eligible if it was first released or if it has achieved prominence during the eligibility year. Artist names appear in parentheses. I did not need to read that, sorry. Singles or tracks only. So first up, we have Bad Idea. And then I'm not going to be reading off the people who wrote it.
Just go with song names and who the song's by so people know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go on the individual artists.
All right. So we have Bad Idea. We have Gold Roses. We have A Lot. We have Racks in the Middle. And we have Suga. So what do you think, Emerson?
Well, I guess I'll kind of go with this. Bad Idea I like, with YBN Cordae and Chance. I did like it. See, the thing is that it's specifically meant to be on, like, writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the song, but it's not my favorite. Gold Roses, I don't like. I think A Lot, actually. You know what? I'm going to go with A Lot by 21 Savage, J. Cole.
I can agree with that.
I think that's the best song here. For me personally, I think it's by far the best written song in terms of, like, writing, which is what this category is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot backing. I thought this was a very poetic, especially the J. Cole feature. Very cool verse. And although 21 Savage, it sounds like he's saying the same thing every time, he definitely brings a lot of nuance to what seems very mundane. I really like A Lot. And I definitely think this is the winner here. Racks in the Middle, again, not too big of a fan. Suge, I love, but I don't think it has the writing per se.
That's fair. It's a little bit sophomoric.
What do you think? I'm going all in with A Lot, but what about you?
So I don't think Bad Idea is going to get it in the least bit, especially after Chance's year that he had. Gold Roses, I think absolutely not. Rick Ross, I love Rick Ross, but Rick Ross is not going to win a Grammy, especially in today's day and age alongside Drake. A Lot is an excellent choice, I think, for this, especially when it comes to... There's a lot of difference here. You know, J. Cole is one sound in rap, and then 21 Savage is another. So I think that's really cool that they came together for this song, and I think it makes for a really, really, really good track. And then next we have Racks in the Middle. This has been a nominee in multiple categories. I don't think it's going to win here, though. And then finally we have DaBaby, and like Emerson said before, I think this is going to go more to the veterans rather than DaBaby, who just came up.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into my personal favorite category here, Best Rap Album. So we have Earthquake, Tyler, the Creator, who's got some stuff coming up, and YBN Cordae, We Gon' Make It, featuring Meek Mill, both of which are also nominated. All right, we're back. The Grammys, Best Rap Album. And the little description they have here is for albums containing at least 51% playing time of new rap recordings.
All right.
So that is the definition they gave, and the nominees are Revenge of the Dreamers 3 by Dreamville, Championships, Meek Mill, I Am Greater Than I Was, 21 Savage, Igor, Tyler, the Creator, and the underdog in this category, in my opinion, The Lost Boy by YBN Cordae. Noah,
all right.
What are your thoughts here on these nominees for the album?
So I'm going to say 100% that I am certain that Igor is going to win. I'm
right with you.
However, Igor has often not been classified as a rap album. In fact, a lot of people have considered it genreless. But in this case, if we're eliminating that fact, Tyler, the Creator, who released Igor, he was I think he's the first artist ever to have entirely composed, arranged, produced, sang, and self-released this album, all while it becoming number one as soon as it dropped. I think this is an amazing achievement, and Tyler, the Creator, has certainly grown in his music career. And if there was any time for him to win a Grammy, I think now would be the time. And I mean, look, if anything else wins in this category, I'm going to be extremely surprised. I know Meek Mill absolutely will not get the win for championships. Revenge of the Dreamers 3, since that's part of a series and it wasn't really that well received, in my opinion, I wouldn't give it to that. I Am Greater Than I Was, I think, has the strongest chance outside of Igor, but still, I don't think 21 Savage is going to win in the overall category, but I think he will win in one of the previous categories we were discussing. And then finally, The Lost Boy by YB and Cordae. That might have just been to pad out the list here. I'm not really sure why it was put on there, but other than that, once again, 100% my vote is Igor.
Yeah, I called Lost Boy the underdog because I have no idea how this got in. I mean, the crazy thing is I remember saying this exactly when Nipsey Hussle got nominated for this category last year.
Right.
And maybe that's just going to be a trend, is they're going to give some like up-and-coming or definitely lesser-known album that was very well done a nod. But this one kind of annoyed me because, first of all, I really like YB and Cordae.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of him. I think he's really talented. I thought this album was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not good enough for a Grammy nomination. It was clearly flawed, and there were so many better albums.
That's what I'm saying.
That could have taken the spot, in my opinion.
Now, if this was the rock genre and they were padding it out, I'd understand that. There's not that many notable rock acts out there today anymore. But for rap, I mean, there's just so many options. And like Emerson was saying, this is kind of a surprise. So is this almost an upset as it is? I don't think so. But Tyler, the Creator, I've loved most of his stuff. And besides my opinion, this is just an album that was almost universally loved. Right, Emerson?
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, it was just a great album. It was.
It was, and I'm surprised nothing off of Igor is in the nominees list.
That was the big thing I heard. I was like, how come it didn't get nominated for Album of the Year?
Right.
And I kind of agree, because I was like, this isn't... I'm surprised. I really don't believe it has at least 51% of new rap recordings.
I agree. I agree.
Don't think it's a rap album, but I'm not mad that I'm glad it got nominated for something, because it definitely is one of the highlights of the year. So, I mean, I'm glad it's on here. I think it's definitely the winner. I Am Greater Than I Was, 21 Savage. Look, there was one good song. Come on. I mean, I loved a lot. I already said that. But this album was not that good. I remember listening to it because I heard a lot, and I was like, well, what else is there? There was nothing else there. I completely ignored this album. I don't know how it got the nomination. Then we got Championships by Meek Mill. Again, I love Meek Mill. I've been a fan from him since the very beginning. I thought this was a pretty bad album. I did not like it at all.
Let it be known that Emerson is a huge Meek Mill fan, despite all the hate he has received over the years.
Exactly. I stood by him through thick and thin. And, I mean, I'm glad he's got a nomination. And I think he actually has a good chance at winning this, even though I think Tyler, Creator, is definitely going to get it. But I think second place is Meek Mill here, because that album sold very well.
It really did.
Championships did so well, which was, I feel like it was just kind of purposely annoying me.
I will hand it to Meek Mill, though. Aside of all the backlash he's gotten and, the literally endless memes that are going to follow him for the rest of his life, he is a pretty good case study in how to at least retain your reputation or come back in a sort of way without really having much controversy. I thought that was pretty impressive on his part.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for Meek Mill, and I will be happy if it wins, but I don't personally think it should have been nominated. Revenge of the Dreamers 3, you mentioned it was just kind of a fun collaboration and was received okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. There's a lot of highlights, but obviously there's a lot of songs where it was just like you just kind of threw them to the side. So yeah, I don't think this really has a chance, but I like the nomination with Dreamville here. I think they deserved it. There's a lot of good highlights there.
Yeah. Once again, Igor is tailor-made for this category, especially at the time it was released, where it is in his discography, and the artist himself, his growth. So I think that's Emerson and I's decision. Emerson also does have an excellent list of additional bonuses.
Excellent. That's nice.
I think it is excellent. because we're going to be talking about pretty much the number one things that the Grammys are good at, which is snubbing artists. And Emerson actually tweeted out this list at one point in time, and I did not see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially the YBN Cordae thing is really what sparked me to make this in the first place. As soon as I saw the nominations, I'm like, what? My mind was just racing. I'm like, well, this was better than that. That was better than that. That was better than that. I'm like, I'm writing this down. Hold on.
Yeah.
So some of these, I will admit, they by no means garnered enough attention or publicity to get a Grammy nomination, but that I thought were at least these are albums that I thought were genuinely better than what was actually listed here in the nominations. But Sincerely Detroit, Apollo Brown, loved that album. Would have been super surprised if it got it, but I loved it. The one I'm kind of surprised didn't, because I think it really well deserved and had a good chance at it, was You Know What I'm Saying, Danny Brown.
Danny Brown's a little bit too weird for the mainstream still.
I thought this was a perfect, great album that just also brought everyone in. I think
really, that would have fit in snugly in front of The Lost Boys place, or maybe Revenge of the Dreamers 3.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I really thought it was just nice there. Herstory in the Making, Young M.A. I've been talking about her for a while. Obviously, not big enough, though, to actually win, in my opinion. I was surprised Eve by Rhapsody wasn't anywhere on here.
Right?
Because I remember when her album Layla's Wisdom came out, it got a handful of nominations, and it didn't win, but it was great to see her get these nominations. So when Eve came out, I was like, this is one of her best albums ever. This is fantastic. I'm like, this could get some Grammy nominations. I'm thinking this might actually win the Grammys this year. The nominations come out and it doesn't get anything. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm very surprised
Eve
about that.
was probably the best concept album that I listened to this year. In the rap, I only listen to rap, but still, this was a beautiful album. Absolutely loved it. Noise Candy 3, Rome Streets, complete no name, but I love the album. I'll stand by that. Bandana, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. I mean, I know they're underground per se, but I mean, come on, these are two lesser known titans at this point that came together and put together another great album. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Zoo, Denzel Curry. I mean, I didn't think it was gonna get it, but he's got to be close now. I mean,
man, I love Denzel Curry so much. The dude's been putting out
some great music for a while now. I mean, I feel like he's on the cusp of a Grammy nomination.
He's just different too, you know? His style is just so... Denzel Curry, he's going to need one. All right, so seriously, Grammys.
That's got to be... I thought this was going to be the year, but maybe next year. He's close.
Okay, don't hold your breath, but we'll wait.
And the last two were Photo by Coda the Friend and Everything's for Sale by Boogie. Both albums that I just personally really, really liked, but not quite Grammy nominated. But I was just like, all of the there was at least 3-4 here that genuinely should have had the Grammy nomination over at least YBN Cordae.
I think Everything's for Sale is a great way to close that off, because I actually listened to that album. We actually reviewed it, right?
We did.
Yeah, we did review it.
Very early in the year. It was like January 20th or something.
If I remember correctly, Boogie, he's worked with Eminem, right? Or he had Eminem on.
He had an Eminem feature on it, yep.
I think that's amazing that he wasn't even on there, considering just that album was actually pretty successful in general.
It did very well, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to see the criteria for what the Grammys choose, but I'm very, very surprised, first off as well, that Eve was not on here, especially considering the lack of women in rap in these categories, you know?
Yeah, I just thought Eve was such a good album. Rhapsody just nailed it again, and I'm like, how does she not get anything from this?
It's rough, man. It's rough. But you got to keep trucking on, especially when it comes to the Grammys. Once again, the Grammys don't determine who you are as an artist, but they will boost you. And it is a nice little piece to have on your desk, especially when you win. So I kind of think of the Grammys similar to the Oscars. I'm not a huge fan, but you can't take your eyes off, you know?
Fair enough.
All right. So up next, we have a little bit of a switch up. We have a song called Cataracts by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. So go ahead and give it a listen.
This is what should have been nominated. Denzel Curry, Ricky off of his album Zoo, one of my personal snubs for the Grammys. But we'll call it a day. We'll give it a rest.
We will.
And we'll be back sometime in January, I believe.
Yes, whenever we're allowed to have our show once again. But right now, you can take a break, and we can. I think it's needed, especially for the end of the year. But just to keep in mind, it's been a fantastic 2019. Thank you for listening in, and we will have much more new material coming out, as January is often a time for a ton of music releases as well, whether they are good or bad. And we're looking for a few guests to come on, so there might be a few surprises along the way.
That's what we're hoping for. But all right, I'm Emerson.
I'm Noah.
And we are Underground Sound, WSOE 89.3, Elon, North Carolina.
Thank you very much.